everyone, it's in another video about retro gaming stuff, and today we're going to talk about failing on what you're trying to do. So you already know my adapter for AC1 and SDD-1 for Super Nintendo. So this is to replace the mask ROM with 27C322. Well, now I think it's pretty known thanks to Voltar, but there's a downside when you design something like that, is this. As you can see here, you got like pads and everything elsewhere, all the pads are ripped. This is because this is my personal Sturgeon card. This is with this one I designed SDD-1 adapter. This is like the third revision, I think, or fourth revision. And every time it's like you take it, you remove it, it doesn't work, you remove it, then you understand this is not the adapter, this is your chip, which is not really working. Then you remove it, you make another version, etc. And those pads are not designed to be removed and work multiple times. So eventually everything starts to fall apart, and now I have to find a replacement. So at the beginning, when I start to have like missing pads, I tried to scratch the traces to have something to grip, but eventually, well, even the traces are starting to fall down. So I try to come with another solution for people which have like me, like missing pads or really damaged board. This is exactly the same version, this is exactly the same procedure, but slightly bigger. It's like an adapter which is roughly, I would say, less than a half, maybe a third of the cards. Again, this is basically the same as the SDD-1 adapter, but we are going to piggyback on the other mask ROM. The reason is, in fact, you have like all the addresses and memory region access are shared between the two mask ROM. The only differences are, well, only one difference is it's the chip enable or output enabler. Don't remember which one. I'll put in the description. But yeah, the one which when you go to a chip and then it's not there, it's automatically switch to the other. So basically, I'm going to piggyback on the other mask ROM. We'll have to remove the capacitor here and put it back there. I can't remove this one because this is a caps for the battery. So yeah, I made a hole just to fit, and I've got yeah, it's a chip enable on this one. So I will have just to put a wire between the chip enable and the SDD-1 because of course the traces here is dead. So if you see this video, this means it's working because I haven't tested. I have this adapter for like maybe 2 years now. I haven't tested, but I'm trying to clean up all my projects. I have other stuff to do, and the main idea is to remove the mask ROM, which we are going to keep at the end, put the adapter, put back the mask ROM on top of that. Here we have to scratch to get the, I think it's ground, yeah, it's the ground, to have another point to avoid the adapter to lift, because all the soldering points are going to be there, but here I had nothing. I could glue them, but I don't want to glue or something. I prefer to scratch and have another point here on the ground, so it should not move after it's fixed. And after that, of course, my programmed mask ROM here. Eventually I can't share, for obvious legal reason, I cannot share the the ROM inside, but I can provide the how to do it, how to get your version, your own version of Star Ocean, well, dump, of course, and then patch it, and I can just go after you patch it because it's really easy now, and how to split it, and provide the CRC check for this one, so at least you will know, like, when you split, if it's correct or not. So first step, let's remove the mask ROM and the caps. So I just set it on my console and it's not working. So I spent a whole day, remove everything, test everything, and I shouldn't have this problem because the SDD-1 adapter and this one are really similar. The only difference is the chip enable, which is different for both chip on this PCB. All the rest are exactly the same. So I spent the whole day testing it, and what I couldn't understand is like when I test with my multimeter the PCB, it's fine, and at the very moment I solder the 27C 322, all those pins on the top are getting ground. So I will try to show you, and there's a little of copper exposed, and this copper is ground. So what does that mean? That means that at the very moment I'm soldering something here, all of the exposed traces are getting ground. So this is not the first time I have issue with OSH Spark. Unfortunately, this one it's been like nearly a year I've ordered it. It's on my shelf for a long time. When I got it, I got made an inspection. I used the multimeter to test. Everything was fine, but I didn't check like if the copper exposed is going we're going to be a problem 1 year later. So it's too late for me to ask for like any reparation. My bad. So yeah, not the first time OSH Spark gave me some weird stuff. The copper is exposed. So this one is visual, so when you got that, you can instantly contact OSH Spark and say, hey, you got a problem. But this one is what really tricky. So I will have to order new ones. I'm not going to ask twice OSH Spark. I will try another place to make the PCB, and I will coming back to see if it's working. It should work, but having the bare PCB is going to allow me to make a double check on the connection, and we should coming back with something working, hopefully. Well, again, if you're seeing this video, that's a good chance there's a happy ending. So after a lot of back and forth with OSH Spark, I finally have working PCB with the right thickness, with castellated via working, and with the solder mask properly done. So yeah, it's working finally. So again, I will publish everything on OSH Spark, and I will try to find a way to give you a working version or something to verify if your splitting file for the EEPROM is working. So yeah, quite a ride. Wasn't supposed to be that complicated, at least where for the PCB working. So again, this is working. This is really similar to the original adapter. And check, inspect your PCB when you get in your hand. And yeah, hope you like it, and thanks for watching.